Good morning friends and welcome to the pre-market view. US markets were up almost about 1%, particularly Dow and S&P, whereas Nasdaq was down almost 1%. In case of Nasdaq, the fall was mainly because of the Apple stock, which came down 6% on concerns of slowdown in their key products like iPad and iPhone. Whereas in case of Dow and S&P, the banking sector as a whole really did well after statements coming out from Citigroup that they are looking at doing a major restructuring, and they are also going to cut almost about 11,000 jobs. So most of the banks, be it Citibank, Bank of America, JP Morgan, so on and so forth, they did well. European markets were also marginally positive, but after the European markets closed, there was a downgrade by S&P on the Greece, and they have put Greece's rating as almost selective default category. So we will have to watch out and see how European markets open up in today's trade. When we look at the Asian markets, most of them are marginally up. And talking about the flows, friends, yesterday FIIs were net buyers to the tune of almost about 880 crore in the cash market, whereas the domestic institutions were sellers to the tune of about 680 crore. Back home, our markets continued to show a lot of strength, and even in the Lok Sabha, the first hurdle has been crossed with UPA winning the vote of confidence on the FDI and multi-brand retail. But it remains to be seen what really happens in Rajya Sabha, because the scenario is not that clear. So today's market, we will get to know what really happens, but overall sentiment definitely is positive. And on that note, let me invite Shaival to take us through important F&O cues, ideas and strategies that we can look at in F&O markets. Hi Shaival, good morning.
Good morning.
We've seen the market really showing a lot of strength for the past few days, and it's been crossing important hurdles on the way up. But what has been the flow scenario like? Have we seen any major inflows by the FIs in the derivatives market?
See, from past two trading sessions, FIs have been net sellers by more than around 1,000 crore in the market. So there's no major addition from the FIs front. But yes, what we have seen in yesterday's trade is that the PCR ratio, in spite of net sellers from FIs side, is still stand at 1.07, which is a good sign for the market and a positive thing for the market.
Also, what's your overall reading of the market given the movement that we've had and the flows and the IV situation that we have right now?
See, from day one of the December series contract has commenced, we have not seen a major addition or reduction in the open interest. It stands still because we have been waiting majorly for the voting in the parliament. So that is the reason, that is one of the reason why we are not been able to see a major build up. But yes, long positions have been accumulated at lower levels, and that is what the confidence of the market participant has been reflecting.
Okay, also any important strikes around which you've seen the build up in the open interest?
Since start of expiry, we had seen that 5,500 put option had a good activity in open interest, but now gradually as the market is inching higher, the activity has been shifting. So that activity has been shifted towards 5,600 and 700 put option. Whereas on the call side, we have a new entrant, that is 6,300 call option, which has 22 lakh shares, which is a pretty good amount in terms of open interest. And 6,100 and 200 continues to add open interest, whereas 5,900 is witnessing the same activity on both on call as well as put side, adding open interest since expiry. So probably 5,900 is the level which we need to watch on, and on higher side 6,000 would be the hurdle area for the market in the immediate run.
Also, Shaival, if you could share with us important stocks, particularly in the banking and the metal space, where there is a major open interest built up.
See, in yesterday's trade, what we have seen is that banking during the last hour of trade has taken a uphand, and it has rallied like anything. So, from banking space, Allahabad Bank has added around 11% of open interest. Andhra Bank has added around 9% of open interest. Bank of Baroda has added around 4% of open interest. Syndicate Bank has added around 8% of open interest. And if I talk about private sector banks, Axis and ICICI Bank has added substantial amount of open interest. If I talk about the open interest, then the prices have also increased. So that has been clearly indicating that the positions have been built up on the long side. And talking about the metal space, we have seen that in the previous expiry, metal was the biggest lackluster, and now it has slowly picked up. So Sterlite Industry, Hindustan Zinc, NMDC and Hindalco are the four counters from the metal stocks which have seen position building up on the long side.
Okay, and if you can share with us any interesting ideas that we could look at?
As I said that Andhra Bank has built up a substantial amount of open interest, so we would like to play on the long side, and we've been recommending Andhra Bank with derivative rating of 4 stars with support of 112 rupees 85 paisa. IRB infrastructure is also looking good. 136.80 is the stop loss which one can maintain, because we've seen that along with banking, infrastructure and realty space is also moving, so we would like to play on that also. And Arvind Milk is looking positive, so one can maintain a stop loss of 92 rupees 20 paisa.
Right, Shaival, thanks a lot for that update.
Thank you.
Friends, here are the important news and events that we are tracking today. First of all, government wins the vote on FDI in retail in Lok Sabha with a thin majority, and on the back of that we've seen that most of the retail stocks, Pantaloon, Trent, Shoppers Stop, Aditya Birla Nuvo, all of them have really gone up, but it remains to be seen what happens in Rajya Sabha today, and you could expect some volatility in some of these stocks. Also, the cabinet is likely to decide on setting up the National Investment Board, which is meant for expediting the clearance for the big infrastructure projects involving investment of more than 1000 crore. So, the setting up of this NIB board and the fact that you will have some kind of a process by which you can take faster decisions would definitely be a big positive for the infrastructure space as a whole. Cognizant has actually guided for a lower growth for the next year from 20% to 16%. So, this could have some negative implications for the Indian IT companies like Infosys, TCS, HCL Tech, so on and so forth. So, you could expect some weakness in some of these stocks in today's market. And also, as per the media reports, the government is looking at infusing about 4,000 crore in State Bank of India. The mode of this infusion is not clear, whether it's going to be through a preferential allotment or through a rights issue. That part is not clear, but this is definitely a bit positive for SBI. Eli Lilly and Strides Aqualab are going to have a tie-up or a collaboration for the expansion and delivery of cancer medicines, and this is going to be a big positive for Strides Aqualab. So, one can go long there with a stop loss of 1132 and a target of about 1190 to 1213. And Reliance Industries has managed to get a credit of almost about $2.1 billion from a US Exim Bank. This is positive for Reliance. One can go long there with a stop loss of 816 and a target of about 858 to 875. JSW Steel could hike the steel prices by about 3 to 4%, and on the back of that one can go long there with a stop loss of 757 and a target of about 796 to 812. Emphasis has reported good set of numbers, and their net profit grew by almost 14.3%, which was better than market expectations. So, one can go long there with a stop loss of 380 and a target of about 400 to 407. L&T secures an order worth about 732 crores from a nuclear power corporation. So, one can go long on L&T with a stop loss of 1632 and a target of about 1716 to 1750. The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs is likely to meet today to approve a new urea investment policy. Also, they are looking at incentivizing the fertilizer firms for setting up new plants and expanding the existing capacity. So, one can go long on fertilizer stocks like Chambal Fertilizers and Rashtriya Chemical Fertilizer or RCF with the stop loss and targets mentioned here. Indian Hotels is likely to increase their offer for the Orient Express by about 10 to 15%, and this is viewed negatively by the market. So, one can go short on Indian Hotels with a stop loss of 66.3 and a target of about 63 to 61. That's it from all of us, friends. Have a nice trading session and see you tomorrow at the same time.